Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chat with Roxanne. Let's chat together. I like it better when it's chat with Kathy and Roxanne because I like when I have a partner and we can talk. But thanks for being here. And let's see. Hi, Barbara. You said you really enjoyed the show. Should be an interesting chat. I hope so. But before I get started, just because I love nutcrackers, I thought I would share with you, hi, Carrie, one of my nutcrackers that I love. Um, I have many. Most of them were gifted to me. My sister bought this one in particular. So I don't know if you ever heard of, I would pronounce it Henri, but a lot of people pronounce it Henry Bendel. That was like it was this really wonderful store. It closed down, I think, in 2019, but it originated in the late 1800s. I think it was something like 1895, and it was one of those posh, really high end type of department stores, and I loved it. They had branches of it that came to different malls in New Jersey, and my girls loved it, and I was sad when they closed. The founder was an American, but I think very much French speaking. So anyway, I have a lot of ums. This is her name is Tanya, Tony, and they're heavy duty. Look at that. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at her. They're wooden. This is all wood and it's painted beautifully. She has fur around. She's a really like sturdy base. She's standing on like a hat box. Her little shopping bags. Her little hands are muffed with her little muff on her head. She's so cute. I'll show you the back. And then I'll be careful with it. She is stamped. Now, this was gifted to me. Look at the rhinestone. See this part here? This is the part where it opens for the nutcracker. Now, of course, these are for show. But anyway, beautiful detail. Love them. This is just one of many that I have. And I have to tell you, if you buy this one now, can anyone guess how much that ridiculous? I mean, it's beautiful, but can you guess how much it would go for now? I just looked it up out of curiosity. This is not what my sister paid for. I've had this for about ever since I built this house, so I've had this for like 5 years now, I think. We just called it Bendel's. My mother took me to shop there and my cousin was a buyer there. Yes. And Henry is Henri, but I would pronounce it Henri, but for whatever reasons, the salespeople would say it was Henry, which is fine, whatever they want to say. So it's Bendel. So you saw, okay. And they closed. That made me sad. Anyway, anyone guess how much that would cost now? Don't look it up. Just guess. It's something ridiculous. Just out of curiosity. All right. While you're I'm waiting for that. I just wanted to share one more thing for you. Oh, you're Arlene. Did you look it up because you're so close? It's $900, I think. Is that crazy? That's crazy. Like it goes for, I think it's $900. I'm like, well, what? $900? I could do some mad grocery shopping with that and a whole bunch of other stuff. I know. But anyway, I wanted to share with you something else. If you want, by all means, I know we all belong to all kinds of different pages, and I didn't want to start another page, but I have to tell you, I'm on 2 Hallmark fan pages, and I like to chat and see what people are thinking, get their perspective, share my stuff. Oh my gosh, the arguments, the nastiness. This one woman told me how rude I was, and I was like, "I answered your question." And she's the one that was actually I thought, "Oh yeah, I got to end that conversation with that." But anyway, so I was like, "You know what? I think I'm going to change the cover that I did, but it's just like it's like I don't want to say dumping ground because that's negative, but it's for anything Hallmark, any Hallmark Plus, Hallmark Channel, Hallmark movies, Hallmark Family, whatever it is, Hallmark merchandise where we could share. But of course, I've got rules. So I vetted people. If you already are part of the Chris McNally fan group or you're part of the Way Home fan group, because it's also for the series too. I immediately, let set a link that you could be in it. Because we've already vetted you from the other pages. I want to show you what it looks like. It is called, because somebody was asking me and I thought it would pop up and I don't know why. Oh, here it is. Hallmark movies and series. And it looks like this. And I just did it 2 days ago. It's like all of it. It's kind of garish looking, but I thought I'd do that and then change it to eventually the cover to look like whatever. So anyway, just if you wanted a place where you can have an opinion, but my goodness, on the other pages, they'd say, what happened to so and so's face? It looks so different. I'm like, why are we even talking about this? Or why don't they show all the good actors anymore? All these new actors, they're terrible. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like everybody starts somewhere anyway. I'm off my soapbox. No, I love nutcrackers and collect them. You do, Arlene? Yes. Oh, I have such cute, beautiful nutcrackers. And again, I don't know. I think maybe I bought two for myself. I started my sister when she was little with the sugar plum fairy one. Oh my God, it's beautiful. How do we sign up? Well, Susan, if you belong to the Chris McNally fan page or the Way Home or couples, you're already been automatically invited. You just have to accept the invite, but you can also search for it if you wanted to and just join. But I think things get lost in your invites, so I'm not sure. But it looks like that. You could just search it up. If not, message me and hop on. There were 17 of us for like a whole day, but we somehow jumped to 28. But some of these pages have like 20,000 people on it, and it's just filled with depressing, not so nice things. And Hallmark's supposed to make you feel good. All right, Carrie, you have several nutcrackers too. Very good. Hi, everyone. Roxanne, your top looks so cozy. Well, I think I wore it last time too. I'm gonna start wearing my Christmas pajamas, but don't have them yet because I still have to celebrate Halloween. I've on all my Halloween clothes on for the kiddos. My sister bought this for me. I could show you this part. It's a giant hoodie. I mean, it's like to my knees, and I was chilled, so this feels nice. I threw it back on. Ava says, I love nutcrackers, but do not collect them. I'm a snowman and little drummer boy collection. Oh, I love snowmen too. I do love the song, The Little Drummer Boy, though. I love that song. Okay, let's dive into the nutcrackers stuff. I have a recipe. If you want, I will share it for sugar plums. I actually really do make them. And they're like a combination of dried fruits and walnuts. If you have a nut allergy, this is not for you. And you roll them in. I have like this purpley sugar, and they look like little baby plums. I'll share that, I think, on Instagram. So anyway, let's dive into the story. First of all, what I wanted to tell you was last year, Kathy and I would look at each weekend and we'd pick one, and we would review it, and we would review it afterwards. And it was fun because then they were people who came on were free to talk, and we couldn't have any actors on because of the strike, but we had people on like directors and producers and costumers. It was so much fun having these behind the scenes looks. And then when we watched it again, we saw it with different eyes, and we got to meet Chris Giroux. And it was funny because we picked like three movies, and I think he and his partners did all three. I guess we liked their style. They were involved with Biltmore, and I think I mentioned this not too long ago. Anyway, he was the executive producer for this movie, and I'm like, well, no wonder I liked it, and I picked it out. I like his style. He's like top notch to me. And when I hear that he's got his hands on a movie, I know it's like a feast for the eyes. It's always like gorgeous. The scenery, the clothing, everything about it. And I felt that really was what this movie was like. I don't know how you all felt. Well, first of all, I love Ashley and I love Chris, right? Russell. Those two were just adorable together. Now, there are many, many things I liked about this. And at the end, we could do our 4 snowmen. How many snowmen do you give it? But there are some things that I didn't, but this is just my opinion. That doesn't, mean anything other than it's my opinion, and I'd like to hear yours. So I thought it was very good storytelling, very like traditional old school Hallmark movies with a touch of magic in there. And they brought that magic in with the whole Tristan attitude of almost sort of Zen like. He even invented what he even did the 7 second hug with her, which I loved. And yes, Avis, they were very, very good together. And I liked how they allowed us to see the characters. You know, how we see a character come on the scene tells a lot about them, especially in a movie like this that has like what, so many minutes, you know, to like less than 2 hours, really, when you think about take all that commercial time out to tell their story. So we have him, we have Tristan going through the airport. He's scruffy looking, but he's still handsome. Scruffy, he's got, you know, beat down every day, worn in kind of clothing, not sloppy. And he's walking through and he stops to help older women with their luggage. And he stops, I think, to what else does he do? He tips money for Santa. Then he gets a candy cane from Santa. Then he stops and he gives the candy cane to a little girl. And when that and some other things along the way. So you're getting his personality of he's like a do-gooder, but not do-gooder. He's like a good guy and very caring and aware of his surroundings, right? And then he when he bends down and behind him we see marching in oh, first of all, before we even get to that part, we meet Ashley's Lottie, and you see Lottie walking through that gorgeously decorated, and that's Chris's movies are like that, gorgeously decorated hall where I think she was from Chicago, and she's very detail oriented, and she's saying this is done and that's done and I took care of this, and her boss is asking her all these different things, and then says, you know, we're shipping you off to Boston, which is her hometown, to try to win this account. So we know that she's like high, not that she's high maintenance, she's stressed, she's gorgeously dressed, very professional. He's the total opposite of her. So we've got these two opposites. She's coming through that airport with her click, click real fast, and they kind of clash and almost lose, you know, mix up each other's luggage. And I think at that moment when Tristan looks at her, he's immediately attracted to her. There's some kind of a vibe. And he's very vibey and into things. She seems like she's like, you know, he's a good looking man. But I feel like he's more in tune with feelings, and she's all nervous about the trip, and he sort of gives her pointers and calms her down, and I love it. I love just how we get so much about those two backstory, but in a unique way and that quickly, which I like, is very good writing. Let's see, Avis, the mother at first seemed very snobby. She didn't seem snobby to me. I felt like she was very snobby, you could say, but I thought she was just very demanding. Like she wanted certain things, and she was going to get them. That kind of thing. Almost a little bit entitled, but not, because she kind of had a good heart about herself. A little cold and standoffish, I think. I love it. There's a line where she says, "Your mother's a little hard to read." And he's like, "You think?" And he's so warm and fuzzy, and the sister is too. Oh, that's the other thing. He's on the phone with his sister, and she's so excited that he comes back, and he's like, "I love you." She's already hung up. I know she was a doctor and had to go. And he's like, "Oh," so he's wears his emotions out there, and he's a touchy feely kind of a guy, which is delicious. You know, I love that. Reserved and focused. Thank you, Susan. She is reserved and focused. I even love her voice and how she talked, and they always had her dressed in soft and silky, always to make her look elegant, and you know that they had money. Their house was gorgeous. Carrie says, I liked when they met, they poked fun of the rom-com tropes. Yes. So I'm getting to that. That was really cute. So when they come off of the plane, they're getting into, about to get their luggage, and they're going to go on. And then again, they almost have a mix up with their luggage, and they're going to go and get into a cab. He's like, I'll walk you out. And she says, meet cute. We have to stop, meet cuting like this. And he looks and she's like, can you forget I even said that? But he already feels like they're destined, especially after she says why she's nervous. So he knows they're going to see each other again, and he likes it. He's already got a little plan in his brain about wooing her. And I love that. I love that he knows, but he's going to do it in his gentle, sweet guy kind of way. I don't know if that kind of man was around my neighborhood. That'd be the kind of man I wanted, because He's just adorable when he's gorgeously dressed. How about when she opens up the door? Well, he opens up the door for her. She's got all her stuff in her hand to make her presentation. And they start with his shoes and they go, the costumes were gorgeous. They start with the shoes and he does his, you do the eye thing up and then there he is clean shaven. And then that sharp pinstripe, it's like blue on blue. And the stripe has that different blue and it's got the pocket square. I don't know. These costumers are outdoing themselves anymore. They really are. The daughter was very nice and loved her backstory about her illness. Yes. And I guess that could make the mom reserved. You know, they went through a lot. The daughter had a serious illness, could have easily, you know, become a tragic story instead of a beautiful story of what it was. So, anyway, they just did a really good job of setting everything up. And now they're going to wind up spending like a week together, which is traditional Hallmark. I thought this was one of the most traditional Hallmark movies that we've seen in a long time. Out of all of the what is it, 6 that have been out for Hallmark, this one to me was the traditional one. The others all had something different that we don't normally see. And not that I don't like them, I do. But I like the traditional too. And I like that there's that little magical, you know, believing in Christmas kind of running through it that Tristan brings, and even in the end brings it. Let's see, believing in your dreams and fate. There was a lot of that, and how they connected the whole losing of the luggage is a real thing. I mean, I have it on a separate note. Has anyone ever lost their luggage? I have a friend, Kathy. She's a Hallmark person here. She might even be here. I don't know. She was in Ireland. She's a tiny woman and they lost her luggage. They've never found it. I think they eventually found her son's, but it was really hard trying to find clothes that would fit her and was on her trip. It was a nightmare and I feel bad. Mm. It's just the real truth to find losing your luggage and how sweet that girl was and in that room and how she was so forthcoming with information is the magic of Hallmark, because that is not what losing your luggage is like. Yes, Rona's saying what a nightmare is like. One of my biggest fears when I fly. And Cindy says, I agree. It was an old school, typical Hallmark movie. It was. It was. And it was wonderful, and it had its place in the lineup. They're you know, peppering us with all kinds of things and not forgetting what we like. Something that I really liked too was Ashley has gorgeous hair. And I loved all that they did with her hair. Sometimes it was this gorgeous hairband. She did have these bows that were large and you could almost say juvenile, but on her and the way she dressed, everything else about her was so stylish and sharp. Maybe the material was soft, and then they had the bone, but I thought it worked. And she's got this gorgeous head of hair. And I like that about her because she had a vulnerability about her too. Like, he was so open and almost seemed like he was vulnerable, but he had a strong like will inside of him, where she was seemed on the outside so strong-willed and focused, but she was kind of mushy on the inside and lacking confidence sometimes just because of the dynamics of her family. And I love that he kept pushing her in a gentle way to include her dad. And in the end, he's the one that invites him to that party, which is so nice. You loved her eyes. Yes. Now, I thought they had great chemistry, and I loved how he looked at her. He was always looking at her. When she walked away, he was looking at her. When they go to the Nutcracker and actually got to watch it, he even says to her that he likes to look at her. She's got the little binoculars. She's like, I'd rather look at you. You know what I mean? You love her eyes. Arlene is agreeing. Me too, Avis. I don't know if you've ever seen, I did an interview with Ashley. She's lovely. She was very athletic when she was younger. I'm not saying she's not now, and competitive, and she's the sweetest person ever. I loved talking with her. If you ever want to go back and see it, she and Steven were in like a winter themed type movie together, which was cute. It was good, about skiing. Okay, so loved their chemistry, loved their storyline. I thought it was just typical Hallmark too. You know how they're always trying to build up the rising action to get where they need to go. And this time they were all connected. They were all connected with the mix up of the luggage, and then the person who had the Nutcracker also winds up getting sick and going to the hospital, the very hospital that they're raising the money for, and it's the daughter of the woman that they're using for the center pieces and all of the florals, and it's all intricate and Hallmark magic, right? Because that's a lot of coincidence going on there. How'd y'all feel about that 7-second hug that he did? And she just moved right into it and let him hold her, and she held him. And I thought, ooh, holding someone for 7 minutes like that. I mean, 7 seconds like that. It's pretty cool. I want to share how I say it's like a feast for the eyes. What do y'all think? I Biltmore, wasn't that a gorgeous movie? It was gorgeous in many ways, but it was a feast for your eyes. So Chris is like behind those types of movies, and he's not alone, but in this one he is. They just so beautiful. I'm going to show you some stuff of what I mean by the details of it. I liked how the families kept crossing paths and not knowing they were looking for a Nutcracker or a doll. Yes, and very nice set decorations. Yes, everything was like that. So I'm going to add to you, my little visuals. So when Lottie walks in to see her dad, this gorgeous ornate, it's almost like they had a brownstone as their house. This gorgeous beveled type, it's not ornate, but beveled type mirror is right there when you first come in, and attached to it with a big red bow set up there, and this gorgeous writing is a note from her dad saying he's at work. And I'm like, really? My dad had gorgeous handwriting, but I think that's funny. That beautiful, like right away, beautiful, right? Every little detail was fancy schmancy. She's got the red gloves on, but her coat is white. The walls to that beautiful house that he lives in are green. You'll see white furniture with red and green pillows. It reminds me of Home Alone, where their house is all red and green everywhere. It gives you like the feel of Christmas, even though you don't realize it. It's just so many. Yes, Carrie, a lot of details in the set props. Like they were busy beavers, these people. Yes. Now this is the office. Now to make it a little bit more officey, I guess, look at the pop of color in those 2 gold chairs. I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous. And they looked gorgeous. There he is in that beautiful suit. This is like that first meeting, and he's telling her she's got the job. When he walks in, don't mind that. This is me off my TV. When he walks in, there's that setting right there. All the white with the reds and their jewels. Had beautiful jewel colors, right? And then here's another room in the house, which I think is just so gorgeous. There's the white furniture with the red and green. The walls are like a deep, deep green. Just so beautiful. They pulled all the colors, yep, from the rug. Just beautiful, right? Beautiful. They did a really good job. So it's a feast for the eyes. The costumes, everybody was beautiful. Their hair was always beautifully done. Even the sister, she's in these rich jewel tones. She had like purples on one day, and their coats. And the little girl's bedroom had these beautiful pinks. Their house was a little bit more modern. And even when I forgot what the mom's name was, who was the florist, when she's standing there talking to Tristan and Lottie, she's surrounded by these gorgeous flowers and just like framed by them. So everything, even when they were outside trying to choose a tree, gorgeous. Everything was gorgeous. The woodwork in that house. Yes, 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 yes. I agree. Susan, what did you say? She looked very uncomfortable in the first few seconds, then moved into it. You mean Lottie in the house and its surroundings? I think she lacked confidence in a way, or she got too nervous because she thought so much was riding on this job. Was her name Pam? It may have been. I don't remember, but thank you. All right. So something else besides the great storytelling, the whole meet cute, how they did that was really nice. And how everything revolved around trying to find that Nutcracker. The little bit of the magic that is in, especially with one of the main characters, and how he's like, you got to believe in this. And she starts to believe in it. And the entire time they really like each other. That's not hidden. And I like that, which is not so traditional, but I like it. So we could, because then it makes that week a little bit more believable, right? The ending was wonderful when they get to dance. So something I wanted to show next was let's see. Boston is my favorite US city. I love Boston. And Chris is famous for breaking out the, what is that? Why can't I think of what that's called? When it hovers in the sky and it takes pictures and stuff. And he comes sailing in with it and zooming around. And you know what? Every time you all see me, I feel like my brain is fried anymore. I don't know. I should take some vitamins for my brain. Anyway, this is what Boston Common, I think it leads up to, right? They are gardens in the Common. I don't think they were really in Boston. Yes, a drone, Julie. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They included as much as they could, but if you know anything about Boston, I have family that lives there. It's crowded in Boston proper. Like it's crowded, I mean, building wise and close. And they did their best when they would show like the cute little stores that they were walking in, that patisserie, that one that looked, I wanted to eat all that good stuff. When she said shortbread, candy cane shortbread, I was like, oh, I've never had candy cane shortbread. Or when the dad went and got little marzipan mice for her, and I'm like, I want to like take a bite in that. That sounded delicious to me. Just they all went out. They really went out to make it a feast for the eyes. The mom looks, when she was shown the pine cones, a place card holder, was funny, but then she finds the little mice. I know. I thought that was great. I thought that was cute too. I love the nesting dolls, and then they use it for like pass the parcel, and that's what they're part of their centerpieces. The whole thing was just very clever. The writing was really good, really clever and well thought out. Now, here's I didn't want to show this yet, but I'm going to. This is not yet. I'm going to remove that, but I promise I'm going to. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I thought were a little odd before I get into all my traditional things. So we talked about the colors. That's very much traditional. And that's not that it's over decorated, but it's stuffed with decorations, right? And the whole fate and Christmas vibe I loved. And then before I get to my last two, I wanted to talk about some things that I thought were odd, because I don't want to end on an odd note. There wasn't much. One of the things that I thought was odd is at the end of the movie when they're dancing, if you go back and you look, you'll see a man, he's just standing on the sides, dancing like this by himself. And there are a couple people just standing there dancing like that, which I thought was hilarious because it's kind of like a slow dance. And he's standing there. I think he might have a cocktail. Someone has a cocktail in their hand, the other one, and not with anybody, not like they're standing next to each other and they're just swaying sort of off to the side in the background. That was jarring for me, and it kind of gave me a chuckle. And I've watched this movie a lot, and I didn't notice it at first. And I think it's funny. I don't know, just a little weird. I saw that, thought it looked awkward. Thank you, Julie. It does. It does. That's funny. That's funny. I laughed too, because it kind of brought a little humor, and there is humor peppered in there. The other thing that I thought was odd, and there's only two, okay? Well, and it's a biggie. It's a biggie. Please tell me, because I thought the treatment of okay, this is not an antique. And the treatment of the box that this came in, okay, was padded. All of them are such a shoved in a box with some stuffing. It's usually got styrofoam. They're padded. I mean, okay, we just don't toss this around, throw it in bed with us, throw it in a suitcase with nothing wrapped around it. Like, and then the sister, she doesn't have the real one in her hand, but she has the nerve to pick it up. It's an antique. It's supposed to be like this very extravagant thing. And it was just tossed around by everyone. The sister was holding it. She was going yin 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 with the mouth, and the two of them wound up breaking the head. But I know that's not the real one, but still she thought it was. And then the gentleman, what is his name, Dave, when he finds, he kind of just flings it into the suitcase, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Even at the end, they're running around with it with no box. You thought that that was odd too? Yes. If it was so valuable, why wasn't it in a special box? You are correct. Yes. The little girl hugging it, she doesn't know any better, but I'm okay with that one. But you're right. I thought, why didn't he ship the Nutcracker UPS? Then we wouldn't have a story. But I guess he was afraid to have it out of his sight. But he just threw it in his suitcase with his stuff. And did people? I don't know. That for being priceless and getting a lot of money for it blew my mind. Okay, that was the weird thing. That one that thought was odd, and the men dancing alone off to the side. Yes. All right. So y'all agree, definitely was odd. Thank you. It was driving me crazy. Every time they were holding, I was like, well, put that down, because the little pieces. Was it insured? I don't know, Avis, but I'm sorry, Avis, but I wonder if that would be. I don't know. This is we don't. That's a detail that they slacked on, and that's okay because nothing is perfect, right? All right. So now, some of the things that I absolutely loved, what we talked about, tradition, like we already talked about, how it was colorful, how it was over decorated. Then they are very famous for their one kiss. And this was a one kiss. Or why didn't he hand carry it in a bag? You're right, Connie. You're right. You're right. So, very famous for their one kiss. And they only had one kiss, and it was at the end, other than a suitcase. Okay. And it was at the end. I know there's a delay when I talk and you get it. But I have to tell you, I like to inspect kisses. So it was one, but it was a goodie. So let's look at this. Okay. This is what I loved about this. It was one very long kiss. They were lip locked, and the camera went around them, showing all the angles over and over, and then even pulled away. So I'm sure they stopped for breath. I don't know, but they were lip locked for a long time. I was like, one kiss, but thank you. It was delicious. She's got her hands up, around his neck. They don't touch each other's face like Chris McNally did in his screen kiss with Lindsay. That was delicious. This is delicious in a different way. And then they go around. That's the other side of them. Then they go around again, and then they pull away, and you can see like an aerial like view of them kissing. If you go back, that was a long kiss. If it were in real life, that'd be sort of what we call a makeout session, but we know that they don't do that on here. But I'm telling you, that was a good lip locking. I like the kiss. I gave it 2 thumbs up. And then here's what else is traditional. The magic of Santa. Because she asked, and I love how they made him modern and cute. She asks, Lottie asks Tristan, who did win the bid? And he said, a man. And here he is right there. And he's walking with it beautifully wrapped. Now we all know it's going to go to little Joey, right? And I like that she had the chance to dance. She was a cute little actress too. She did a good job. She's like, she seems seasoned. And I don't know how many movies she's ever been in, but good job for her too. I liked all the acting. Nobody overacted. And I want to talk about overacting after this. But anyway, there he is, Santa, and he's placing the gift down under the tree, which eventually went to her. And she's like, he kind of looks like, and Tristan's like, yeah, I know. They had that little magic, which I love. I love that. That's traditional Hallmark. And I enjoyed every minute of it. Arlene, you agree it was a finale kiss. It really was. It was. We had to wait. There was this tiny, like almost kiss, I think, in the house or something. And it sort of went to and then broke apart. But It was worth the wait. They did a good job. They have fantastic chemistry. Overacting. Sometimes, I mean, people have been talking about this a lot on those other Hallmark pages that have been annoying me because people are just so mean. Sometimes we think that actors are overacting, and they are. And Avis, I'm going to read your little post in 1 minute. But I then see these actors, whether they're seasoned or new, and I see them in something else. And I say to myself, oh, wow, look at that. They don't overact here. And I think sometimes it's a combination of how the script is written, how the director interprets it, which is then goes to what they accept from the actor. I remember talking to one of the directors, and we were talking, and she said to me that a character was supposed to be a certain way, but for whatever reason, the actress couldn't deliver that. So no matter how many ways they tried it, it was just like not in her. So they changed what the act with the how that character was going to be, just slight changes. And that was within her power. And the movie, I'm not even going to mention or anything, but the movie was really good. You would have never known that it was a switch. But that's a seasoned director. That's a good director. Sometimes it just, for whatever reasons, they're pumping it out and they're getting it out there. And I didn't see any of that when it came to over. There was no overacting. Everybody did a really good job. I loved it. So we've got 4 snowmen, right? And I would give it 4 snowmen. There wasn't, I mean, the little things that I'm picking out are funny. You know what I mean? There was not, except for the treatment. Maybe that was part of the storyline and we missed it. Just for the treatment of the antique. Right, Tanya. They didn't treat him correctly. The antique Nutcracker and the little funny dancing. It was great. All right. What do y'all give it? How many snowmen would you give it? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's see. Ava says, as a proud North Carolinian, the Biltmore house is gorgeous. Through November, yes, and December, all decked out for Christmas. It's unbelievable there, and it's open this year. Thank God that it is. That the only thing that was ruined was up towards the front, right? So that we're not ruined, flooded out, or hurt, and that's true. And I loved when we had the guys on and they walked us through it. And then we had the costumer on. Oh my God, what a beautiful physically and on the inside person he is. He's great. If you love the Biltmore movie and you haven't had a chance to see when Kathy and I chatted with them, check it out. It's worth it. And then you watch with new eyes. Carrie, you give it 4 snowmen. I agree. I do too. Let's see. Connie, I agree regarding the overacting because directors have a vision. So sometimes after multiple retakes, it just happens. Julie, you gave it 4. Connie gave it 4. And 4, I'll watch it again. Arlene, I have watched this just for the pure joy of it 3 times. And then a 4th time because I wanted to make sure I had some notes. I really did enjoy it. Rona, you give it 4 stars. And Yvonne, you agree. Okay. I don't know. I thought it was great. All right. So next week we have Kathy is not joining me yet. Is she? Is it November? I forget. Is she joining me in November? I think I still might be solo. I forget. I'm not sure. But next week, I forget which one I chose. I don't remember. But I do have some interesting 4 snowmen, but I still love Holiday Crashers. Avis, that's okay. Let's talk real quick, if you don't mind hanging out with me for another minute. We're almost at 40 minutes. So there have been 6 Hallmark Channel movies. There have been the other channel has had things on for Thursday that are fantastic. They always have fantastic movies. And we're going to do some of those as well. But these 4 snowmen, these 6 movies. The one with we don't know what the ratings are for this weekend, but for last week, the 3 I posted in the Chris McNally fan group. Some of you might not be from there. The 1.55 was the rating. Some of you might think that's really low because we're used to series being higher, but that's not low because you got a multitude of things going on and to watch. Was number one, and that was Christmas Crashers. So far, that's number one for the season. Underneath them was 1.19, which was twas the date before Christmas, and 1.13, which was Scouting for Christmas. And all three of them had as main characters seasoned actors that have been part of the Hallmark family for years. Did they have some newbies mixed in? Yes. And did they do well? They did. The little girl in Scouting for Christmas was amazing. Just amazing. Wonderful acting. And they had two seasoned actors in that one. I felt their chemistry was off, but I like them individually, but that's for a different story. Let's see what you have here. Loved it right away. Loved the Nutcracker magic. Both actors top of their game and for snowmen. Thank you. She was so cute. Yes. Unpopular opinion. Okay. I'm going down the middle, two snowmen. Okay, Cindy, it's all right. It was your average Hallmark movie, and the leads are just okay for me. I like Christmas Charade better. Well, let's talk about that for a minute because I was originally going to do that one. And then I was like, oh, I love Nutcracker, so I didn't. But I watched Christmas Charade and I enjoyed it. It was very different. It wasn't traditional. And it was far-fetched, very far-fetched. That's what kind of pulled me away, but I had to know that you got to keep that in mind. It's just that all that scenario would have never happened. I thought it was a little weird how they handled the necklace, but it was fun and it was visually beautiful. Here's me looking at this one and saying, darn, that one is visually beautiful. The acting is excellent once again. I love when they don't have a giant cast, and they didn't. And the actors were great. I love the dancing. It was all funny. And guess what? Guess who did that one too? Chris Giroux, he did it that one too. So they had some back-to-back coolness about them. Yep. And Corey was a director for it, which is great. Let's see. And you know what, Cindy? You don't have to say unpopular opinion. You could just say, I'm going down the middle. And it's two. You don't have to defend your opinion. That's perfectly fine. Yep, Corey did direct it. He did. He's into that now. He's a darn good actor. He can do all kinds of things. He could do quirky, funny. He could do serious, grumpy. I think wasn't he was in a couple of things. The one that touches my heart that he was in, oh my God, it was in the summertime, I think. And it's the one where the girl hits her head and goes back and she gets to see her mom who died of cancer. Oh my God. That one is so good. And they kind of work their way back to each other. It's like the Christmas do-over or something. I forget exactly what it's called. It's just really good. He's good in everything. I just couldn't get into Christmas Charade. That's okay. It's all right. It's why they have different flavored popsicles. They have different flavored Christmas movies. But if you do watch it, and you watch it with an eye for the decor and the clothing and the cinematography, you're going to see similarities between the two. I did right away, not realizing Chris had his hand in both, which was wonderful. All right, friends, thank you. Oh, I loved Christmas as a charade, totally different, but could be a series. You know what, Susan? Someone else said that. And I don't know if it was you. I saw that where people like, you can make this a series. They could be in all kinds of mishaps. That's it. Thank you. Take Me Back for Christmas. Oh, that was so beautiful. I had her on too. And Lenges, I think that's her last name. That was a beautiful, beautiful Christmas movie for me. I liked it. All right, friends, I really am saying good night. And I'll see you next week. I don't know exactly which one. Maybe it'll be Chat with Kathy and Roxanne. I'm hoping so. And it'll be good. You know what? I don't know if it's next week or not, but we are doing Erin's movie. And some people have feelings about it. I love Erin. Krakow, I love her. and we're doing her movie, Santa Tell Me, and they have Chris again in it, I think, right? And they have Daniel Lissing is in it. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for joining me. Good night.